If you know you could be a better father, maybe you're the grumpy dad, you struggle to switch off and be present, and even though you're doing your best to protect and provide, you know you could be better, you feel guilty or ashamed for how you're showing up, then understand it's not your fault. I commend you. And there are 5 simple steps you can use today to become the father, the man you know you can be. A man who is a better leader, a better role model, a man who is respected and appreciated. In today's podcast episode, I'm going to break down what these 5 steps are and how you can use them today. If you don't know who I am, my name's Tony Versick. I've helped over 5,000 men fix their marriages, become better dads, and make shitloads of money without sacrificing their health or relationships. Before I share these steps with you and how I've used them with 5,000 men, I want to walk you through sort of what I've gone through as a father and what I've experienced. My father, love him to bits, but when I was a child, my parents separated when I was 4.5 years old. My mother and father were always arguing, and always when I saw my father, I would see him drinking, sedating, being a victim. It's not his fault. I understand that now, but back then I didn't. And the first lesson I learned that was relationships are a mirror. Our relationships are very much a reflection of ourselves. And I watched my father doing these things, drinking, taking drugs, being unhappy, being a victim. And I told myself I would never do that. When I had my teenage years, it's exactly what I did. Unexpectedly, I modeled what I saw. And this is the thing, as fathers, we are constantly being watched. These lessons apply to your business. They apply to your career. They apply to every area of your life. When we are in a leadership position, which is what a father is, we are looking towards other people. And in this instance, we're looking towards that father figure for what we're going to model our world off. Now, this is shocking. By the time your children are 18, you've spent 85% of your life with them. That is a crazy statistic. You've only got 15% of that time you're going to spend with them left. So with my daughter, she's turning 3 in July. I've got another child on the way and I want to have a big family. I know that one day my daughter's going to look up at me and she's going to be holding my hand and she's going to look up at a man and go, that's the type of man I get to model being with, right? The way that I show up is what she's going to model. With my sons, one day my son's going to look at me and go, that's the type of man I aspire to be. And I know we know this, you know this, I know this as a man, but it is such a powerful principle because if you don't get it right early, it's very difficult to unravel. I can attribute the majority of my problems, anxiety, the way I deal with stress, the way I handle challenges, the way I communicate or get angry, the way I have negative emotions like fear or doubt, they come from my childhood, both from my mother and my father. And because my father, bless his soul, wasn't that figure for me of masculine excellence and health and power and purpose, I've had to figure it out on my own and spend over $400,000 on mentors, coaches, programs to actually get this shit right, which is why we now teach it to other men. So the first lesson before I share these steps is that relationships are a mirror, meaning your children will mirror you. When you get angry about something, they're constantly watching you and going, that's how I'm going to react to that situation. A good example of this is my daughter Talia. She's been dropping the F-bomb recently because I say fuck a lot and it's something I get to be mindful of. However, there are many worse things she could be doing. So let's dive into these 5 steps and how they can help you become a better father. The first step here is to teach our children how to deal with challenges and stress or duress. Mike Tyson has a fucking amazing quote here. I use it in business all the time. I use it with my wife. I observe it in every area of my life, and I'm sure you've experienced this. Our children, everyone in our life has a plan until they get punched in the face, right? Everyone knows what they want to do in work or career, and then when it gets stressful, when it gets challenging, things begin to break down. Children are not very good at regulating their emotions. Ironically enough, most grown adults are not good at regulating their emotions. If you have a partner or wife who's ever experienced a monthly cycle, you know what I mean. And that's politically incorrect to say, but hormones go through the roof. When emotions go up, intellect goes down. So when our children are bullied, when our children haven't had good sleep, when our children have a tummy bug, when our children are upset about something, their stress response, their emotions, their duress, their challenges go through the roof. One of the most important lessons we can teach the people in our lives, our children, and also our team members. I run a business with 15 people. Sometimes I feel like I'm dealing with children, is the ability to deal with these challenges and be in control and not allow these things to help us lose that control. Now, if we go back to that first principle or lesson that relationships are a mirror, it's really fucking hard to teach your children how to deal with the challenges of life when we're not very good at dealing with the challenges of life. So in the first part of my daughter's life, when I was working hard, making money, providing, but only coming home to drink, right? And sedate with marijuana or alcohol, scrolling on my phone, getting grumpy or triggered, being upset at my wife, my daughter was watching that and she was modeling that. And then I noticed one day she started yelling and I went, fuck, look at this. One of the best skills you can do is learn as a man how to, despite how challenging it is, because life is fucking hard as a man, despite the stress at work, despite the challenges you're facing every day, despite the fact that you're busy and have no time, despite the fact that you and your wife aren't as intimate as you want to be, you show up stoic, you show up calm, you show up in control. And not only do you show up in control, you communicate with your children, because we just assume that people know. You communicate with them that it's been a hard day, you've had a lot of pressure on your shoulders, and that you are consciously making a choice to be calm, patient, and in control anyway. You're consciously making a choice to be grateful for the challenges. This is something I'm practicing with Talia right now. At the dinner table, we've started practicing gratitude. What are you grateful for today? And one of the things that I'm teaching her is that when I have a tough day, which is often, if you are a successful man, it is fucking hard. Sacrifice is mandatory. It's hard to be a provider and run a business and a team and make money and put food on the table. It's fucking hard. What happened today? How was your day, Talia? It was a good day, Daddy. My day was good too. I had a lot of challenges. It was hard, but I'm grateful for the challenges. They helped me grow. And I teach her how these things help me grow, how they help me become a better person. So the first step here is really establishing what are the challenges in your life? Is it money? Is it relationships? Is it health? Are you tired? Are you stressed? And really reflecting, how do you deal with challenges? How do you deal with stress? What version of you shows up as a man, as a husband, as a father, as a leader in your career or business when things are tough? And really, once you've done that reflection, ask yourself, how can I overcome these stresses and challenges and roadblocks? And how can I then teach my children to overcome these things too? Because guess what? The world's going to get harder and harder. Things are going to get more expensive. There are going to be more wars and atrocities in the world. And if you arm your children now with the ability to deal with challenges and stress, they will win. You can only do that if you, as a relationship as a mirror, learn how to deal with challenges and stress. So what are the challenges? What are the stresses in your life? How do you deal with them? And then how can you step by step overcome them and teach your children to do the exact same thing? The second thing that's so important to teach children and everyone in your life, the suppliers in business and your marriage, is the importance of core values. Now, this is something most men fuck up, just like the first step, which is dealing with challenges and stress, because it's a blind spot. We don't think about it. There are certain things in your life as a man that are very important to you. There are certain things in your business that are very important to you. And we call these core values. But most business owners, most fathers, most husbands, most men never clearly define their core values. My core values are integrity, doing what you say you're going to do, honesty, being honest and not lying, being very direct with someone, performance, right? Going above and beyond. These are things that are very important to me as a man. And when I understand my values and I live by my values, I'm then able to use those to drive my decisions in life. Another way of framing this, or another lesson that you can teach your children, is the difference between right and wrong. Like, what is wrong? If my daughter pushes another child or hits another child, or let's say I have a teenager, my teenager starts smoking or hang out with the wrong crowd, I've got to be able to share with my children that that is wrong. But when we often do that, our children resist, because when people feel attacked, they defend. Have you ever had your child not listen to you, not respect you, not appreciate you? That's because we're making the child wrong for what they're doing. Don't do that. You shouldn't have done that. You can't do that. That does not work. It is a fucking terrible way to lead. It's the same with our team. They fuck something up, we get angry at them. Don't do that. That is wrong. That's not how you do it. If they understand the values, integrity, performance, being honest, focusing on making people feel good, making an impact, then when my child does something wrong, I can say, hey, you know how we talked about being honest and kind? Can you explain to me, what do you think? Not telling them what to do. What do you think? What you just did, how does that align with our values? Because we agreed that our values are honesty, integrity, kindness, compassion. So you just push that child. How does that make that child feel? My daughter will say, sad, I said, interesting. And can you tell me why do you think that makes the child sad? Because. Why do you think because? Because I upset the child. Okay, why do you think I upset him? Because I pushed him. Okay, Talia, well, do you want to be pushed by other children? No, why not? Because it'll make me sad. Okay, so what do you think we get to do here? And my daughter says, we get to be nice. And she goes back to the values. And it's crazy how simple this is and how few fathers do this. It's fucking so simple. Instead of telling your children what to do, when they do something wrong, the difference between right and wrong, don't make them wrong and tell them what's right. Align them to their values. So to understand this, you have to understand your own values. What's important to you? What do you live by? Is it integrity, doing what you say you're going to do? If so, your child says they're going to do something, they don't do it, you pull them aside and say, hey, what's going on? Not, hey, you're wrong. You said you were going to do that. You didn't. You said you were going to do the dishes. You didn't. No. Hey, is everything okay? What do you mean? Well, you said you were going to do the dishes, and one of our values in this family is integrity, and I know that's important to you. So can you explain to me what's going on? Oh, I was just busy. Okay, well, how's that integrity? Now, I know this sounds difficult, and we're going to explain very quickly in the next podcast and later today how you can actually implement this. But the importance is what is right, what is wrong, what are the values you live by in your business and your personal life, and then how can you embed those values into your children? Now, this is a really important point. The first 5 years of a child's life are so fucking important. This is the imprinting stage. The way your child deals with stress, the way your child manages emotions, the way your child communicates, the way your child does everything is really molded in the first 5 years. It's so fucking important. You got to get it right. Now, if you don't get it right, it's not the end of the world. It just means more unraveling, right? Everything is a mirror. So not only do you get to deal with stress and teach your children that, do you actually understand your values? What's important to you? Have you written your values down? The things that you live by that drive your actions and decisions. And if you can imprint these values on how to be a better human, a better daughter, a better son into your children really early on, it becomes like a game where they want to live by those values because they look up to you as the person who helps them and holds them accountable to them. What are your values? Do your children understand those things? And how can you align your children to those values instead of making them wrong when they don't show up the way that you feel is right? Hey, if you're getting value from this episode, then I highly recommend you book a coaching session with our Empowered Man team. We'll not only teach you how to become a better father, a better role model, and a better leader, but we'll also help you improve the relationship with your wife or partner. We'll help you make more money in your business or career while working less hours. We'll help you become the man who has it all in his health, wealth, relationships. Because being a better father also means being a provider, being a great role model in your relationship, having a healthy body, having it all. And most men don't know how. So if you want a custom roadmap on how to do that, go to the link in the description right now, book a session with my team, and we'll build out a game plan for you to become the best father you can be. This leads us to our third step, which is how to communicate with other people. Communication is the key to connection. And if there's one skill, there's many, that you can teach your children that are going to help them have the most successful life ever. It's not sending them to school and learning math and science. Sure, those things can help. It's the art of communication. It's the ability to express themselves to other people and also to understand how to take what other people give to them. When I was in school, I was bullied a lot. I had buck teeth and I had braces, I had acne. My confidence was fucking terrible. And I didn't know how to communicate with people. I had severe anxiety because no one taught me. My father wasn't there. My stepfather wasn't able to do it. I had to figure it out. It took me a lot of time and money. How to communicate with others is such a simple skill. And it really starts with teaching your children on how to be interested, not interesting. This is one that my daughter struggles with. My daughter is very much like I was. She's a bit of a show-off. She says, look at me when she's doing stuff. One of the lessons I'm embedding in her is to ask questions about people instead of making it about herself. Hi, my name's Talia. What's your name? Awesome. Tell me a little bit about yourself. How old are you? What are you doing, etc. Asking questions, asking open-ended questions, and being interested in people. One of the most valuable skills on the planet is to be interested, not interesting. Have you ever met someone in the past who you've just met them and they just start telling you all about themselves and you haven't asked a fucking thing? Those people are quite interesting, right? So tell me about yourself. What do you do? Oh, that's really interesting. Tell me more. Making them ask great questions. The next part of communication is being able to communicate with someone who upsets you or triggers you and to stay cool, calm, and collected. A powerful skill you can teach your team, your children, and yourself is to not react to situations. In a communication situation, to be able to be in control of your emotions. Now, this is very, very difficult to do for most adults. So imagine how difficult it is to do for our children. Communication is a really simple one. How can you teach your children to ask great questions, to listen to what people tell them, and then to reflect that back to the person? So for example, I would say to my daughter, when we meet someone new, a really powerful thing we can do is ask that person about them. How old are you? What's your favorite color? What do you enjoy? If I had a teenage child, they would already know this, but yeah, like I want you to learn one thing about each person you meet. Then when that person tells us, we want to learn more about it, be interested in them genuinely, and then say, oh my God, that's amazing, and feed it back to them. Such a powerful skill set. Another part of being able to communicate with others is reading people, reading people's body language, reading people's energy, reading people's, how the way they're showing up. My stepfather came down to pick up some stuff for our business yesterday, and he's normally a very happy, very bubbly guy. And we said, hey, how you doing, Jim? And he said, I'm all right, how are you? And you could tell something was off. If you can teach your children how to read people, then they're gonna be able to be malleable and communicate in the right scenarios. Sometimes they need to be excited, sometimes they need to be empathetic. If they can learn how to read people, they're gonna be so much better off in life and getting what they want. So how do you communicate with people? Are you sometimes angry and grumpy? Are you sometimes calm and patient? How do you show up as a father? And how can you learn how to communicate better in your life to teach that to your children? Now, the final step of communication here is so fucking important. You gotta teach your children how to communicate in intimate relationships. My daughter is constantly watching Rosie and I. If we have an argument, if we're happy, if we're loving, if we're holding hands, if we're upset at each other, and she's seen all the highs and lows. Think about your children and how they've seen you interact with your partner in your relationship. We coach a lot of guys who are divorced or getting separated. We coach a lot of guys who fix their marriage. What sort of relationship are they watching? Because once again, relationships are a mirror, and how you deal with stress and how you live by your values and how you communicate with your partner, all those things are connected. So are your children seeing communication in your relationship that's healthy, that's powerful? Are they gonna model that and actually have a great relationship in the future? All of that rests on your shoulders. It's so fucking important. So you've got to teach your children how to communicate with other people and also in their relationships in the future. Hey, if you're getting value from this video, then please do me a favor, give it a thumbs up on YouTube or 5 stars on the podcast platform. We do this for free. We've helped thousands of men. And if you're getting value, it helps a lot more men if you share it and engage with it. So please give it a thumbs up or 5 stars right now and enjoy the rest of the episode. This is where the 4th step comes in, because you can't communicate well with other people unless you learn how to communicate with yourself. And this is the first thing we teach our clients who make hundreds of millions of dollars. We coach guys who are 9-figure business owners. They're super fucking successful. The first thing we teach them is how to actually self-reflect and understand themselves better. And what I mean by this is, if you can understand your thoughts, what are the thoughts going through your head, the sentences, words in your head that hold you back or empower you? What are the emotions you feel? Happiness, joy, pride, excitement, anger, fear, frustration. And what are the actions you take based on those thoughts and feelings? In a couple of podcasts, I'm gonna launch an episode on how to take control of your mind, how to control negative emotions, how to stop procrastinating and winning. So if you want value from that, if you want that episode, drop a like or a thumbs up on this video, or 5 stars on a podcast platform, and drop a comment down below saying I'm keen, and I'll get that to you. But what am I thinking today? How am I feeling today? What am I grateful for today? What actions am I gonna take today? If you can teach your children how to not just ask powerful questions with other people in communication, but also with themselves, you will change their life forever. What would your children's life look like if they knew, they were aware of the thoughts and feelings that held them back, and they were able to choose positive thoughts and feelings that make their life better? What if they didn't catastrophize or feel anxiety or fear or anger? What would their life look like if they were in control of their thoughts, feelings, actions, and reactions? The game would fucking change. I work with so many men who say, my children have anxiety. They've got like a 9-year-old. It's fucking crazy. My child's depressed. Their child's 13, right? That's because they have not been taught how to regulate their emotions. They haven't been taught how to deal with negative emotions and turn them into positive emotions. They haven't learned how to have fears or doubts or uncertainties and use that as an opportunity to grow. Now, this is such a powerful tool, and it begins once again with you. Teach your children how to take their thoughts and feelings and write them down. It's just simple as journaling. Pen, paper, every single morning and every single evening, asking the question, what am I thinking about today? Get your thoughts out of your head on paper. How am I feeling today? Write down what you're feeling in your body. How's your sleep? How's your energy? What mood are you in? What emotions are you feeling? What are my actions I'm going to take today? So what are they going to do that day? And what am I grateful for today? Because it's impossible to be negative when you're grateful. If you can teach your children how to do this, it is so fucking powerful. It takes 5 minutes every morning. And then every evening, reflecting on the day. What did I learn today? What were my challenges today? What did I achieve today? What am I doing tomorrow? 5 minutes. You can do it in a different order. What were my challenges today? Because they create lessons. So what was hard today? What was challenging, stressful? What did I achieve today? What did I get done today? We stack those wins. What did I learn from those achievements and challenges? And what am I going to do tomorrow? Plan tomorrow today. I cannot stress how fucking powerful this is. It's called self-reflection. If your children learn this in the morning and the evening, they have 2 opportunities a day, 730 opportunities a year, 365 days in a year times 2, 730 to grow. You have the most self-aware child. Think about the reason we fuck up anything in our lives. Why do we drink? Why do we work too much? Why do we argue with our partner? We don't do any of that shit on purpose. We do it because they're blind spots. We're not aware of it. It happens. We go, fuck, I did it again. It's because we're not self-aware. Once again, relationships are a mirror. We teach this to all of our Empowered Man clients. How do you take control of your mind, your emotions, your actions? You become self-aware. And the best way to become self-aware is to teach your children how to self-reflect. Journal every morning, journal every evening. Ask yourself those questions. Every morning, what am I thinking about? How am I feeling? What am I grateful for? What are my actions for today? Every evening, what were my challenges today? What were my achievements? What did I learn? What are my actions for tomorrow? Such a powerful tool, and it begins once again with you. The final step is so fucking obvious, but it's the most important, and it's teaching your children how to be healthy. It's really fucking hard to do this if you're not healthy. I see so many fathers. We have this thing in Australia called Nippers, if you're watching across the world. Nippers is basically like a beach thing where all the fathers and mothers and children come and they swim on the beach and do surf lifesaving. So basically just a bunch of children and a bunch of parents. And it is fucking disgusting. And I say this with no judgment. I'm not judging you if you're one of these guys, but it's fucking disgusting to think about how unself-aware we are as men to be overweight and unhealthy in front of our children. Our children are constantly watching us. Our daughters are looking at the man they're going to marry, and our sons are looking at the man they're going to model. And at those events, there's 500 men, 100 men, and 2 of them have their shirt off. 1 is me, and I look lean, I've got a 6-pack. The rest have a gut sticking out, which is as wide as they are tall. Now, I don't care if you're fat. I don't give a fuck. What I care about is, as a man, being a great role model. Think about what a model is at the mall that they put clothes on. It's a model. It's something that you wear. It's something you aspire to. If you're overweight and unhealthy, you eat shit food, you drink alcohol, you take drugs, you are constantly stressed, your physical and mental health is failing, you are showing your children a model of what is okay and acceptable. And in my model of the world, that is unacceptable. Now, you don't have to agree with that, but it's really fucking hard to unwind these patterns. My mother, my father, my stepfather, they all do their best. They work out, I pay for their training, but they're all not super healthy. They've got weight on them, right? And it's sad because my daughter sees that. My son is going to see that. So I get to, as a father, and you get to, as a father, teach your children how to be healthy. How do you eat well? How do you have lots of energy? How do you sleep well? How do you stay hydrated? How do you exercise? Get them involved, walking, hiking, sports. It's not enough to just throw them in a sport and say, do that while you're unhappy, unhealthy, and unfit. Now, I know this is hard to do. We work with a lot of fathers who are business owners. They're busy, they're stressed. But the reality is, if you're not healthy, how the fuck can you teach your children to be healthy? And this applies to all these principles here. How can we teach our children how to deal with stress and challenges if we don't know how to do that? If we fucking capitulate as soon as shit gets hard? How can we teach our children how to do the right thing and live by their values if we don't do the right thing or live by our values? We say we're going to do something we don't. We don't have integrity. How can we teach our children how to communicate with others when we're arguing with our wife or pissed off at our team? How can we teach our children to self-reflect and understand our thoughts and emotions if we don't know how to do that? And how can we be healthy or teach our children to be healthy if we're not healthy? This is so fucking important. You need all these steps, and they all come back once again to you as a man. You are the role model. You are the leader, which means you are in control of how they see you, how they perceive you, and only you control that. So it begins with you. These are the 5 steps you must have, the 5 things you must do with your children. There's plenty more, but these are the basics. And if you're not doing it, you get to make a choice. Do I continue down the path I'm on, or do I do something different? Now, I'm going to stop here because I know that you know these things are obvious. And if you've listened this far, it shows me you're committed and you actually want to become a better father. You know you should be healthy. You know you should communicate well. You know you should teach your children these things. But the problem is knowing isn't doing, and doing isn't becoming. Anyone can do this for a day or two. But then we get busy or stressed with work, we're trying to provide, we're trying to wear all the hats, husband, father, business owner, provider, and we drop the fucking ball. And the reason we drop the ball is because we don't have anyone holding us accountable. Becoming someone, we call this the empowered man, is a different story. You just make it happen. You got time, you got freedom, you got family, you got balance, you got everything lined up in a row. You're the best father you can be. Winning as a husband, father, and as a man, crushing it in your health, wealth, relationships. Now, if you don't know how to do that, or you struggle to do that, it's a lot easier with a plan. So go down below to the first link in the description. You'll be able to book a coaching session with my team, and we'll literally build out a plan for you free of charge. There's no catch. You might become a client, or you might just get a bunch of free value. But either way, you have a plan. If you understand these principles, but you don't know how to implement them, then go and invest in yourself. Put the oxygen mask on yourself and become a better father, because your family deserves that and you deserve that. So go down below, book a session with our team, and I'll see you for the next episode.